Hi, I'm 𝗕𝗓𝗬, Realtor with 𝗕𝗵𝗲 Realty Group, and today I'm very excited to be bringing back my video series, All Things Morgantown. And today I am going to show you a wonderful facility in Morgantown called Move Right Performance Therapy and Recovery Center, and introduce my business partner, Zack Pell. And we're going to be showing you some of the wonderful services they have here for Morgantown. And look forward to continuing this video series and showing you a lot more about our wonderful city in the months and weeks to come. So I have the pleasure of introducing my trainer and friend, Dr. Nick Kyle, who is the owner of Move Right Performance Therapy and Recovery Services. Nick, tell us a little bit about your facility.
Yeah, so this is Move Right Performance Therapy. We started off as being a small physical therapy company with just me, working out of a small room in a gym space, and we've expanded into what we are currently, which is offering recovery center services, physical therapy, some strength conditioning work to meet a variety of needs for our population here in Morgantown. First things we have is our 𝗕𝗏𝗬 lounge. So 𝗕𝗏𝗬 is compression gear for the legs, the hips, the arms. It helps to increase circulation, take some swelling out of the limbs, increase that lymphatic flow, and take pressure off of various areas like your feet and your hands, areas that tend to get really swollen, irritated. It's great for people who are on their feet working all day, but it also is one of those things we like to use with marathon runners, people who are endurance athletes, and even our strength athletes. I personally, because I'm biased and spoiled, I get to take it home every Friday night, and I sit and do my paperwork in my 𝗕𝗏𝗬 pants and just relax for a while there. The next thing we have is our red light therapy services. So red light's this really cool thing that has evolved over the last several years. Started off in the research as photobiomodulation, big fancy word that basically just means light exposure. The red light panels that we have are fantastic for helping to increase ATP synthesis, which is the energy production units for the cells. And there's some really neat research coming out with use of red light to deal with various conditions, some neurological problems, things like that. The research really evolved with it when it came to post-surgical management for scar and some things with skin issues and lesions. But it's a really fantastic tool that we get to use regularly here. It's a short exposure, and it's one of those that needs to be done over time repetitively. The next thing we have is our infrared sauna. The infrared sauna is a tool that I like to use in that recovery piece, as well as just kind of help get some cardiovascular training in. So if you're not real big on doing cardio work, like jumping on the treadmill and running, the sauna is kind of like almost a little cheating way to get that heart rate elevated, increase that sweat, and help get some cellular turnover there. And then there's some really neat things coming out in research with use of an infrared sauna that helps for some general brain conditions and reduction of stroke and some other long-term problems that are similar to getting cardiovascular work in. It's really neat. Next thing we have, and it's not here yet, unfortunately, is our plunge tank, which is a cold plunge. That's coming in hopefully within the week. But that's going to be a really neat tool that we can actually put alongside of our infrared sauna and do some contrast work. So going from the cold into a really hot and back into that cold to kind of almost shock the body into developing some different cellular processes and some really neat stuff with that. The last thing we have is our float room. So the float room is this really neat thing. Ours is a pretty large one. It's one of the only in the area that's actually a full-size room. It's about 9 by 7, so it's a pretty large one. And the intent behind the float room is actually just to be able to shut down that brain and help you to kind of relax down out of your environment. The water is set at a temperature where it matches your skin temperature. There's a ton of salt in the water so that it actually helps you to be hyper buoyant. So you literally sit on top of the water, you float in top of the water. And this is one of those things that is used by the military. It's where I picked this up to help the guys with coming back from missions, to be able to bring them back down, help them relax down and get out of that fight or flight state, and help them reintegrate into normal day-to-day life. It's one of those things that I like to use maybe once a month or so to help just mindset and bring myself down and calm back down for the hecticness that we have of life, and really to turn off and disconnect for a little bit. The last thing we have is actually our physical therapy area. We have the full gym facility. where we can do some strength work, some conditioning work, but that all ties back to the physical therapy work that we do. So there's 4 of us as physical therapists that work here and treat a variety of conditions, but our emphasis in this facility is dealing with people who are active, people who are highly invested in their health and their wellness, that want to be able to get back to an activity. This whole thing kind of kicked off for me because I worked in a classic physical therapy clinic. And while I was there, the heaviest thing that I had in the room was a 30-pound kettlebell. And I had guys coming in who were high-level athletes, incredible strength athletes, and I had to figure out ways to challenge them with a 30-pound kettlebell. And the reality is, it's just not sufficient to be able to push people to that limit, to be able to find where their breaking points are and be able to help them progress beyond that. So as you can see from our facility, that will never be an issue here. We are able to challenge world champion powerlifters all the way through grandma. So if she wants to be able to do things with her grandkids or the person who's the highest level athlete possible, we can treat that entire spectrum and we'll never be at a deficit for that.